Hey, welcome back to the Breaches Room. By request, we're going to be talking about ballistic helmets today, and specifically it's going to be a tale of two helmets from how I started with this OpsCore ballistic helmet and then how I ended up to this. Stick around to find out more. So talking about ballistic helmets and all the protective equipment and accessories that go with that, this was the first helmet that I started with that I worn for a prolonged period of time. I'll tell you guys a brief story. Back in 2017, I just joined the Army National Guard of my state, had some money saved up after all my initial training, and I wanted a helmet of my own that was a little bit better for myself compared to the issued ACH that I was given. So I was perusing OpsCore's website, saw that they had high cut helmets on a contract overrun, and they were selling for like $800. And I thought that was pretty enticing because I think at the time they were maybe $1,400 or $1,500 helmets back in 2017. So I was really considering getting it. And then it was also Veterans Day, so they had a 20% off code. So I was able to stack both that contract overrun price and that code. So after tax or so, I think I got this helmet for a little less than $600. So ordered it, got it in, pretty happy. And then I was trying to figure out what ear pro, how I was going to set it up and get it. So I think around 2017 was kind of like the heyday for a lot of the Instagram milsurp gear resellers. And there's one profile, which I don't think the guy exists anymore, was selling a pair of contacts for a pretty good price. I think it was like $300. Just with the headband on there, no helmet mount. So ordered that from that guy, and then that's kind of how I started up with this helmet here. So it's an OpsCore Fast Maritime high cut helmet, and I got the Peltor Contact 3s from a reseller. And looking at helmet mounting options, you kind of had two choices at the time, and it was either the stock Peltor arc rail attachments or the Unity ones. And I decided to go with the Unity ones because they're a little bit more low profile, which you can see here, they really don't stick out a whole lot. I liked them, they worked pretty good. They didn't pop out like the Peltor ones where you could pop them out, kind of get some airflow under the ear, but you can rotate them out of the way and kind of stow them up on your helmet. You can't mount these on the rear part of the helmet, which was okay. I didn't really see anything to do it at the time, but this was more or less my helmet setup for a few years, at least up until 2022, give or take or so. I had a multicam helmet cover on there. Was using the Army issue night vision whenever we were using them. But that was about it. Pretty simple setup, nothing too crazy, and that's what I was using before I got on the team. So around 2022, that's when I got on my agency's full-time SWAT team, and the only big major changes that I had was, I was issued a Wilcox mount for our dual tube night vision, and then I also added a green helmet cover, which is on the other helmet that I'm currently using now. But I was running this for about a year or so because the helmets that our team and our agency had, none of them fit me because they were more or less kind of like hand-me-down gear. Like I got the gear of the previous guy that I had replaced. So that helmet didn't fit me. So I kind of lucked out that I had my own helmet, and I was like, hey, I'll just use this until we get replacements, or one ends up we end up finding one that fits me. So, and I was still wearing it, still rocking it. And then the next major change that I had was with how I set up my ear pro. So after about a year and a half on the SWAT team, I kind of noticed that I was having ear pro seal issues with those Unity mounts. I kept having to retighten the bolts and stuff on them, and then I had to bend the actual wires of the helmet. But I wasn't getting a good seal on my ear pro, which sucks when you're shooting on the range every week, and then you're doing explosive breach training. You only have one set of ears, so you want to protect them as best you can. So the next big upgrade that I did was I got OpsCore amp arms, and then I started off with the Gen 1 axle rack links, and that made a big difference in how well my ear pro was sealing, because the amp arms actually press them into your head pretty good. So I really like that setup. You know, I was able to pop the ear pro out when I didn't want it on there, and then it was just simple, just closing it when you do want it there. You can mount it either in the top rail and the back rail. Is nice when you mount them on the back rail, you get that weight shifted a little bit further back, so when you do have a night vision device attached to your helmet, it helps kind of counterbalance that. So the next big upgrade that I did with my helmet was getting the Gen 2 rack link. So replace the Gen 1 Tegris pieces, and this was a one solid kind of like a C-clamp on the ear pro. So really good design. Axel did a good job on that. This will also work on Invisio headsets. It's a little loose fitting, but when we were teening Invisio T7 headsets, they never actually like fell off the helmet, and they sealed pretty good. So I think Axel did say they were going to make a Model 4 Invisio, but if you had the ones for Peltor contacts, just know you could use them in a pinch until you got the new ones. So this was my helmet setup for a while, and now we'll move on to my current helmet setup, which I've been using for the past 6 months or so. This is our current helmet setup now. It's the OpsCore Fast SF. Comparing it to our issued helmet and my personally purchased helmet, it's at least 8 ounces or more lighter. What that weight savings means is increased comfortability over time, which is nice, especially when you start adding additional stuff like ear pro and counterweights and night vision devices. So it's good that we got the weight savings there. We're looking at the attachments on the helmet from front to back. Same Wilcox G24 shroud that I've been issued. I leave it on there all the time. I always have it there ready. Definitely not one of those day noodle type dudes, but I do think there is some merit to leaving it on there. The SWAT guys that made entry in the Pulse nightclub shooting, the suspect did shoot one of the officers in the head, and the round appeared to have struck his Wilcox mount. I think that aided in the deflection, considering it was a rifle round. So I'll leave it on there. God forbid, you do get shot at. Like, this does offer you some, additional protection, although slight. It's just aluminum. But overall, we got the Agelite helmet cover in Rager Green with the associated counterweight pouch in the back. Kind of annoying that you have to buy the pouch separate of the cover, but I guess if you don't need the counterweight pouch, or you have a dedicated counterweight that attaches on the bolts, and I guess you don't really need it. So on the top here we have a Hellstar 6 strobe, which has a sim strike on there. I don't remember when that happened, but I guess that's a good thing. Visible infrared settings, so we use that on the range. We're doing night shoots for safety purposes, for administrative safety purposes, and then when we're doing operations at night, we'll turn that IR strobe on, so that way we have an idea where everyone's at, especially if we're using drones or helicopters overhead and they're using their FLIR and their night vision cameras and stuff. So again, on the back we got the counterweight pouch, which inside the counterweight pouch I kind of store my comms cable there, keep it out of the way. I have a 3D printed battery holder where I keep 123s. I like to keep a lot of batteries on me, not just for myself, but for my team members. Especially when you consider like surefire weapon lights, surefire pistol lights, our night vision. We have a lot of things on our geared equipment that we use that use 123s. So I like to keep a bunch on there, because if they replace batteries in weapon light, that's at least 2 batteries. Batteries in my EOTech is 1 battery. Battery in my night vision's 1. So plus my teammates needing a battery. So it's good to keep extra batteries. For additional counterweight, I keep it simple. It's just a box of 20 rounds of 5.56. Works good enough for what I need to do. Our night vision isn't super heavy, but we are running dual tubes, so you do want a little bit of a counterweight in the back as well. I keep my chin strap extender for when we're wearing gas masks clipped here in the back. That way I never lose it, but at least it's out of the way. Working off to the side, so we have our OpsCore amp headsets with the amp arms. I like the amp arms a lot. I know some guys don't like them because you can't pop them like Peltors. They're either all the way on or all the way off. Rumor has it maybe they're making one that pops out slightly. Biggest tip I can give you guys with these amp arms when you're taking your ear pro on, taking your ear pro off, is grab them by the actual arms itself. Don't grab them by the ear cup. When you grab them by the arms, I just close them with the arms and just settle them into the position. And when I want to take them off, I just grab the arms and pivot up that way. If you start torquing this T-post here where it connects to your arc rail, that's how you can potentially snap it, because you're putting a lot of force on it. So on the side here, we have a Surefire X400 visible light, infrared light on a knockoff Therm Picatinny arc rail mount. I like that it swivels because I can do umbrella lighting with infrared if we're inside of a structure and it's really dark. I can provide some additional lighting when we're using night vision. So one thing that I'm kind of messing with is the hook system for the Ops Core Ear Pro, and I'll show you what that guys looks like. So this is what this Ops Core Eye Pro looks like. It's kind of like a goggle. It's kind of not like a goggle, but what it does is it uses these side hooks to attach onto the helmet and come off, and the actual brow of the Eye Pro rests on the top lip of the helmet here. I'll be honest with you guys, this is a knockoff one I got on eBay. I think it's made by FMA. Reason why I got the knockoff one is because the Ops Core one is like $200. And for Clear Eye Pro, I wasn't really sold on this concept just yet. I wanted to give it a try, at least the concept of it, before I committed to the real deal. So I think this was like $20 on eBay or so. So the benefit of using this is you have that air gap in the middle, so they're supposed to fog less. I did shoot this with rifle sims at point blank, and it does stop rifle sims. I did try it in 1 or 2 missions, and I don't know, I wasn't necessarily sold on this compared to just like standard, like Eye Pro, like Oakley's or whatever your guys' preference is. So I at least wanted to give it a try, see what it was like. So I'm still kind of on the fence. The price is kind of something to look at, especially if you're not issued some stuff like that. It's kind of hard to stomach spending $200 on a piece of Eye Pro. So talking about the inside of the helmet. So the inside of the helmet, we have these pads here. They're 4D Tactical-like pads. I don't know if 4D Tactical is making these on contract for Ops Core, but these are the standard pads that come with the Fast SF. So it's super comfortable helmet, which is nice. I did buy 4D pads for my old helmet before we switched to these ones, and that definitely did help compared to the foam pads that came with the original helmets, which you guys are probably familiar with, or especially if you wear an ACH, then you definitely know what the pads feel like. So one other thing that I'll talk about in terms of accessory is my camera setup for those helmet POVs. I use the Insta360 Go 3S. I really like it because it's a 4K camera and it detaches from the base station here, which is what you mainly use to charge and preview your footage. But you can activate the camera with a single push button on the front face there. This is a 3D printed mount that I made by kit bashing a couple different GoPro mounts and arc rail Picatinny mounts that people have made online. I do have another mount where I can mount it to the dovetail on the Wilcox shroud. And that's just another option of attaching the camera, or a GoPro for that matter. So I keep that with me in case another guy wants to run a GoPro. But typically I just use this side arc rail mount there, because if I need my Wilcox for night vision, I'm probably not filming stuff at night because it's dark out. So that's my current helmet setup in a nutshell. By no means is this a be-all, end-all. This is what works for me. You may have different lighting setups or different requirements. I definitely know that the amp arms are kind of like a hot topic online because they have a chance for breaking, but I've been using an amp arm setup for a little over a year and a half now. I think if you are kind of conscientious in how you pop them on, pop them off, they'll probably last you pretty good. That's my helmet setup in general. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for coming by the Breacher's Room.